Hey peeps, welcome back to this chapter of Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore, aka trying to turn into 90s version Jerry Springer. We're in 2021 version Jerry Springer where we've got some clout and some tact. Anyway, joining me as per usual is Tobias Atomtalus.
Hello.
And today we're going to get through Chevalier's, I believe, third chapter today. I don't remember. It's been almost 2 weeks, so...
It's been a little bit.
It's been a little bit. Yeah, third chapter, so we're getting to chapter 4. But yeah, so in the last episode, we kind of discovered, Cinna's worries about him being the Lucis Bearer, that he does not want to turn out like Parfait. For a little bit of context, Lucette's been having increasing nightmares, and it's not necessarily due to the events around her, as it's been pretty much silent in terms of events from the witches, so no negativity from there, so everyone pretty much assumed that it's all her. But then we get some background from Sinna, which is, well, the Tenebrarum, it focuses on negative energy. The Lucis focuses, however, on positive energy. So one of the consequences of that is that they can get so euphoric that you may not be as, well, best description I can think of is, like, you may not be as critical or as cautious as you normally would because of the positive energy. Makes you feel everything's fine.
Living high on life.
Yeah, more or less. And kind of funny considering I'm wearing tie-dye right now, so... but yeah, that's one of the consequences. So, it seems like Cinna is using his fear to tamp down the effects of the Lucis on himself, but that, as a result, is making Lucette do double duty. Because he's dealing with her own anxiety, plus Cinna's anxiety, and then it kind of put that. Whereas, I think with, like, when Parfait was the Lucis Bearer, and her mom Hilda was the Tenebrarum Bearer, it was the opposite. Like, it was like Parfait was doing double duty, trying to keep the positivity in the kingdom, and then trying to balance her own. So, yeah. Both of them are stories of imbalance. So, let me go through the log real fast.
Yeah, agree with him. Don't. What are we agreeing?
Yeah, so, alright. Let's see. Alright. So, long story short, the reason why Parfait was so positive was pretty much the Lucis basically exaggerated what was already there. Like, because the Tenebrarum, it kind of exaggerated what was already in Hilda. So, Parfait was pretty optimistic, but it just, the Lucis just basically amplified everything to the point where it blotted out the more practical things. And then it wasn't until, like, something as serious as Gennaro's dad getting killed that's when she finally was able to come back to her senses. Let's see. So, yeah. So, basically, closing himself off from Lucis because he didn't want to impact his judgment. Which Chevalier kind of brought up a really good point, which was... Is it possible that closing off his emotions has basically put Lucette on double duty? But Cinna's saying, like, no, my feelings have nothing to do with this. But she's always like, no, you're affecting Lucette. Okay, let's see. Okay, So here's the part where we were kind of debating. So Lucette's basically saying that her taking on the emotions of the Tenebrarum is basically the consequences of being the bearer, and she's basically saying that Sinna is basically having a similar responsibility, albeit with positive emotions. He's saying it's not the same thing. I mean, I personally don't agree with him. I think it's similar because the consequences of having the Tenebrarum doing all the work is that Lucette would have turned back to her old self, being suspicious of everything. So being too overly cautious, whereas with Sinna, his consequences were going to be not cautious at all. So I think they're both sides of the same coin. And that's why they need to work together, so that way that imbalance doesn't happen. So I think it is the same thing, personally.
Just the way they describe, like, how it works as far as they know, it seems like a whole yin-yang thing. So, like, if I have to deal with this responsibility, you need to, do your part too, or else it's gonna mess up.
Yeah,
everything.
And I think the other thing that, like, Sinna's kind of missing is that Parfait basically had to balance that by herself for 11 years. So of course she was going to get the brunt of the worst of the effects of the crystal. Versus there's two of them now, so they can take the weight off each other. So that's my theory. So I'm gonna argue with him on this one. I fail to see how it is not. The longer this conversation carries on, the harder it is to remain calm. The festering negativity of Tenebrarum hardly makes it easier.
With all due respect, Princess Lucette.
If you had any respect, you would stop talking and start listening. Both Sinna and Chevalier stopped to stare at me. What? I'm sure Chevalier was thinking the same thing.
You adults are all the same. You refuse to consider new perspectives.
2021 Jerry Springer. 2021 Jerry Springer. I am trying to understand you, Cinnamon.
That's Sinna.
Whatever!
Let's try assessing this from a different angle, shall we?
Sinna turns away with a scowl. I force myself to take a deep breath. The last thing I want is to make Chevalier worry when he already has other problems to deal with. I come at my argument from a different angle. Rather than insisting, I ask Sinna to rethink his methods. Chevalier is quick to back me up, but he does so in a way that makes it seem as if he is seeing both sides of the argument. By the time we are done talking, Sinna looks defeated.
Fine. I'll do what you ask, Princess, but only on the condition that you let me do it my way. Tiny Lord, you're much too cynical for your age. If you keep this up, you'll have permanent wrinkles on your face before the year is up. Oh look, one of your friends is playing games.
Oh! Hey, Pharaoh himself! Yeah, I'm using Steam for this.
You should smile more often. And you need to learn how to face reality, old man.
Oof! This kind of argument feels way too familiar. Chevalier just laughs. Oh my god, this argument feels way too familiar, come to think of it. Those who are in the know, you will know.
Life's about balance, as they say. And I already have a very dedicated princess here to help me master it.
He smiles at me fondly. Years ago, when I first met Chevalier, he taught me the value of trust. I, in turn, lectured him on self-gratitude. I'd like to think we both have been good teachers to each other, even if Chevalier does still give a lot more than he receives. Sinna sighs.
I'm not in the mood for your philosophizing. Thank you very much. But I suppose you are in the mood for a cinnamon roll?
That does sound good right now, actually.
It does. Is the Lucis Bearer embarrassed? One more word and I will shatter your glasses.
That's code for saying yes. Chevalier is completely unscathed by the threat. He is smirking when he orders the cinnamon roll for Sinna. Relief washes over me as the date carries on. For the first time in a long while, things seem to be looking up. Whew. The days pass in quick succession over the next week. Remarkably, I am able to fall asleep and stay asleep. I do not know what or if Sinna has done anything to Lucis, but I am relieved for the change regardless. It has been 4 days now since our talk at the cafe, and I have some time on my hands after a meeting with Father and the counselors. Chevalier, who already knows about this, will be by in a few hours. Last time I heard from him, he was busy setting up his new clinic space in the palace. His absence works to my advantage. I have some time on my hands to do something nice for him without him knowing. In the end, I decided to go with my first idea, the scarf. Chevalier has been in need of a scarf for a while. He's not the same without one. Yeah, I felt like something was missing earlier. It just did not feel like him at all. But the question remains, what kind of scarf do I get him? Oh, boy!
You need to make him a scarf all the way.
Ooh, okay. That sounds fun. Okay, let's give it a shot. I mean, I make my own every year, which is pretty fun.
I'm like, I feel like it's a lot more heartfelt. Plus, you can probably put, some design into it. Something meaningful.
That's true. I guess the one thing I'm kind of curious about that plan is, would she have enough time to finish it is the question. Between her royal duties and being the bearer and all that kind of stuff. But on the other hand, though, that personalization does sound good. You know what, let's do it. Make him a scarf. It has
Personally, I think if you legitimately ran out of time, you could be like, here, I was making you this, I haven't finished it yet.
That is true.
I've been busy.
It has been a long time since I sewed anything. When I was lonely, I used to sew public companions for myself, but I never made clothing. I can still remember the scarf Bria made for Chevalier. Is there any way I can make one that looks even half as nice? Bria made a living as a seamstress, but me? I shook my head to clear it. I will make him a nice scarf. A maid passing through the hallway paused to look at me, and it occurs to be belated me that I spoke aloud. Whoops! If I must say the words for them to be true, then so be it. Yes, Lucette, call it in! Manifest it! Though it has been years since I sewed anything for pleasure, I am easily able to locate my supplies. I set everything out on the table and start working. The longer I work, the easier it becomes to focus. Eventually, I completely lose track of time. Oh!
And what is my lovely Lucette doing?
The minute I catch the glint of Chevalier's glasses, I grab the material off the desk and sit on it.
Keeping secrets, are we?
And hope I'm not sitting on a needle in the process!
Yeah, that's my thought, exactly.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Are you hiding another romance book?
Oh, she's a Harlequin reader, I see. I will never forget the day Chevalier found me in here reading one of the romance books Emmeline lent me. I kind of have a similar thing where I finally finished Bridgerton after my friend and I were talking about the show, and I was like, oh man, I have to finish this. And, well, I predicted the big plot twist in episode 6. I just wasn't sure. Which, honestly, I should not be so unsure about my predictions, because like 9 times out of 10 they tend to be correct. I just keep doubting myself about it. But I will say this. I will say this. For those who are in the know about Bridgerton, I think Whistledown is much bigger than just her. She's probably the pen person, but I don't think it's just her. I think it's a collaborative effort, considering some of the terminology she uses, especially with a person as progressive as her. That's the last thing she'd do. But then again, she's pretty literate about society. So, of course she would use language like that. But, well, you know, I think she's the head of the in other words, I think she's the head of the operation, but I think there's like more people than just her, in theory, because there's a lot of things that she shouldn't even know, and yet that was in there. But the thing with you know who was a dead giveaway. I narrowed it down to 2 people. And that was hard to talk about without using spoilers, but there you go. Because there are people who have not watched Bridgerton. If you've not watched Bridgerton, go watch it. It's great. I am not sponsored. I just happen to be friends with somebody who is in a show with Netflix, and I watch it a lot, so. And now it's back to our regularly scheduled programming. Or rather, he will never let me forget it.
I should buy another so we can read it together.
The last time he read a romance aloud, I wanted to throw myself out the window! That's too funny! If you do that again, I will burn the book with magic!
Even if it's Emmeline's.
Oh, touche! Even if it's Emmeline's. Oh, snap! Chevalier laughs as he leans closer, close enough for me to see the playful shimmer in his eyes.
You never answered my question.
Which one? Oh, the first one.
Yeah, what she's hiding.
Ah, right. It's nothing.
No?
He leans even closer until his lips are brushing my ear. Oh!
You won't mind me sweeping you off your feet to see.
Oh, snap! I grip the chair when Chevalier sets a hand on my back. I will not let the surprise be spoiled. The mission is too important. Abort! You had to do what you had to do, Lucette, but wow. Oh my god! Oh!
What could I possibly do to distract him from this right now?
Okay, gripping the chair's not gonna work. Oh, I know! Before he can lift me off the chair, I lean forward and kiss him. Hard. He freezes, but his surprise is only momentary. He kisses me back, his fingers trailing down my back and sending shivers down my spine. When we part, he steps away and holds up his hands in surrender. Dang! Last time I saw something that effective was the chilling adventures of Sabrina.
What? I defeat?
I can't believe that worked. Good, because you can never hope to best me. Chevalier laughs.
No, I suppose not.
He pops down the bed with a sigh. It occurs to me that today was his first official day as the palace physician. Oh snap, orientation day. How was your work?
Good, I suppose.
You suppose? Chevalier shakes his head.
There isn't much to do besides organize my inventory and order medication. Most of the nobles and servants who came by were healthy.
Well, if you're not doing that much, of course there'd be a lot less to do. I mean, well, appointments are pretty satisfying, especially if you've been having like a stream of ill patients. But on the other hand, it's like if it's the only thing you see, unless you're invested in how this well-being's been preserved, I guess I kind of feel like as if you're not doing enough service to your community, I guess. Especially somebody who's like charitable as Chevalier. And how were they? Chevalier's expression is carefully neutral.
As I said, they were all healthy.
But how were they when you spoke to them? Yeah, she's getting to the heart of the matter here. Oh boy. I can't help but recall the way the two ladies in town looked at him. Many people, nobles included, are unafraid to show their dislike of him. And because Chevalier is Chevalier and dislikes speaking ill of anyone, he probably does not want to admit it. I really do wish he would talk to me. Oh, yeah, those people in town. Ugh. This is hard. Because on the one hand, I want to do it he has I have his back and, well, to know he can tell me anything. The other hand, though, I don't want to stress him out.
Though, on the other hand, it may be the sort of thing where if you, don't talk about it, then he'll just never talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's less about never talking about it, because it says hold off. So, I guess you could press him later, but...
I guess.
Now, it does seem a good a time as any, though, if you were going to do it. I don't have a ready answer for this one.
I don't either. Anybody in the chat want to crack at this one? Because I know, especially in more real world relationships, be it friendship or romantic, there are some things that may never be brought up and it functions just fine. And there are other things that you may have no choice but to bring up in order to make things okay. And then there may be other things that you bring it up and it breaks it all fall apart. And it's kind of hard to tell which of the three it is. But as Daphne's mother, Lady Bridgerton, has said, we chose to love each other every day. Yeah, it feels like
reminds me of the Fiddler on the Roof song, where Tevye is singing to his wife, is do you love me? And she's like, I've been married to you for 25 years. You're asking me this now? and But then they kind of have to take a moment and be like, do we? What is love? Like,
Yeah,
I
because
stuck by him all this time, supporting him. If that's not love, what is?
yeah, because like, I mean, there's some people who are married that long and they just did it out of obligation. And there are other ones who they genuinely managed to like keep the honeymoon phase for all that time. And as somebody who has like no experience outside of visual novels, so there's that. Well, I do have one, but other than that. Okay. You know what? Let me flip a coin. Heads we press, tails we hold off. Here we go. Press it is. Here we go. Chev, how can I help you if you don't tell me the truth?
Lucette.
I wouldn't have put it that way, but... Yeah, I kind of would say that. Like, what? Like, how can I help more effectively if you don't tell me what it is? He sighs.
Most of them were friendly.
And the ones who weren't?
Princess, you have a scary look on your face. He's like, what are you going to do to these people who may not have been friendly?
And the timing was pretty perfect considering that, like, thunder just, like, I don't know if you heard that, but, like, thunder just, like, hit the background. Say the word, and I will hunt them down.
This is not the way I expected this conversation to go.
I mean, sis, you forgot the Hippocratic Oath! In the very least, you should know that disrespecting Chevalier is tantamount to disrespecting me.
Princess, you really don't need to worry so much. These battles are mine to fight.
Let's bear the weight together, Chev! Except we don't fight at all, Chev. You just smile and nod.
I prefer pacifism.
Actually, come to think of it, sometimes it's kind of in a way it's kind of like trolls. Like the best way to fight them is just sometimes not to respond at all. One up it. Be the example you want them to be.
This is not the way I expected this conversation. I thought we were gonna say like, look, you need to talk to me about these things. If you're upset, tell me you're upset so you can at least, have me to support you and, get through this. But she's just so like, this is unacceptable. We will not have it.
Yeah, it went a completely different direction.
Give me names. I'm gonna fight some people.
It's kind of funny considering what's happening in the background again. It's like, I don't know if you're hearing this.
I think I am. Yeah.
In the end, this conversation has gotten us nowhere. And the sky is weeping in response.
Maybe we should load the game and choose the other one, just because, like, this is not what I meant when I chose this option.
Yeah, this is what I meant either! Woo! But let's finish it to see what happens. Like at least find out, and then we can try the other one, because maybe the other one's the correct path. But let's see. I just want to see how this conversation goes.
What do you propose I do about my more troublesome patients?
I'm surprised by the quiet determination in his eyes. Yeah, just because he's a fast does not mean he's a pushover, man.
I don't want you to needlessly worry about me. I know you have a lot on your plate.
When I do not say anything, Chevalier sighs and pulls off his glasses. He regards me with his violet eyes, gay, somber. He looks completely different without them. Like, it's very rare, like, because, like, oftentimes, like, you know, it's not that dramatic, but, like, he really does feel like a different person without him. I notice he only takes off his glasses when it's just the two of us. He is much easier to read when he's not wearing them. Oh yeah, it does hide the brows sometimes, depending on the cut, so it kind of makes sense. Well, what have you done in the past with troubling patients? For once, Chevalier looks at a loss for words. While he still is distracted, I take the opportunity to quickly pull the uncompleted scarf out from beneath me and fold it up. Then, before Chevalier can question what it is, I tuck it into a drawer and turn back to him.
How mysterious.
I clear my throat. Chev, do you ever think about what is good for you? I know the answer to that question too, but I enjoy the bewilderment on his face when I say it aloud.
What a silly question, Lucette. Of course I do.
I am skeptically. I think maybe you should spoil yourself more often. Chevalier's look of shock perhaps emboldens me more than it should. Before he can object, I grab his glasses off the bed and settle them on the bridge of my nose. Sorry? Let me try that again. It's a good thing I'm wearing my blue light glasses at this point, too. I took the glasses in the hope that I can make them glint the same way Chevalier does. I think maybe you should spoil yourself more often, Chev. That was too funny. Chevalier's shock disappears, replaced by bemused glee. Hehehe.
Is that so? Oh, I don't think so at all. After all, I think I am already the luckiest man in the world to be spoiled by you.
Ooh, great comeback. Can Lucette top it? Being spoiled by others and spoiling yourself are two different things. Ooh, what's his response to that?
Oh, my princess, your words make an even more sophisticated air with the glasses. Although...
Oh? He laughs.
I'm sorry. Even though I'm sure you wear my glasses better than I do, I can't appreciate your beauty because I can't see you.
Shut down! Whoops! Did not factor that into my plan. Just how bad is your eyesight?
You're wearing his glasses. You should be able to tell. Miserable.
I'm sitting right next to you.
Not close enough, I'm afraid.
Snap, he's farsighted.
Or is it really that bad? I just want you to get closer.
That's where I thought I was going too, but it didn't go there. I sigh out, but in the end, shift closer so I can leave my head on his shoulder. Chevalier does not miss the opportunity to plant a kiss on my forehead. He smiles. One thing you do know, however, is that at least it does not affect his depth perception.
Sorry, I have a cat that is wanting my attention now.
Kitty!
I was right. Your eyes are scintillating behind those lenses.
Are they sparkling?
What?
Is he not aware? Is he not aware? He's really not aware of this. Like, Karma is, but he's not. What? Are the glasses sparkling?
Cling.
He doesn't know! He doesn't know! You always somehow manage to make your glasses shine.
I'm afraid that is my secret technique, Princess.
He knows! He knows! You sly beast. Good. I thought you would say that.
Thank you for trying to cheer me up, Lucette. Oh, another cat on my desk.
Ah!
Can't see. Cat. I need to read words. And for reminding me about something important. I think the glasses do make you more convincing, by the way.
Why, thank you. I like the hipster look myself. I have no doubt they are the reason you are so silver-tongued. Can't say it better myself, honestly. Chevalier looks horrified as I hand his glasses back.
You make them sound like magic.
Well, the fact that you weren't even... You made as if you weren't aware of how sparkly you get with them. It's not so strange to think someone might have charmed them.
You don't think I was just born charming?
Ho-ho! I wonder. Hey, Sophie. Thanks a lot for the message. Hope she's doing better. Chevalier looks sure of himself when he puts the glasses back on. You promise that if someone bothers you, you come to me?
I never keep secrets from you, Lucette. I never have, and I never will.
Communication! Woo!
Unless they're meant to be surprises. Then that is a different thing entirely.
Aha! He's good. He's good! He gives me a pointed look, a mischievous smile curling his lips.
I'm sure you understand the excitement of keeping a secret.
I shrug as nonchalantly as I can manage. I would not rise to his bait. He is not finding out about my scarf.
Anyway, other than a few disagreeable patients, everything has been splendid. I'm enjoying work so far.
It is good!
So long as I can help someone, I'm satisfied.
That's what I was saying earlier! It may not be the kind of work he's used to, but I hope Chevalier's patients will treat him well. The more I think about it, the more I question the reason Chevalier moved his practice here to the palace in the first place. He said that he did it because the king personally offered him a job and he couldn't refuse, but... Chev, you didn't just move to the palace because of my father's proposition, did you?
Wanted to change location. I get to be closer to you this way.
That is true. But... Chevalier puts a finger to my lips.
No buts, lovely princess. I moved my practice here because I wanted to. You know how long I thought about this.
Ah! This is so... From what I remember, it was not very long at all. Too Well, 2 years is pretty fast, Lucette. Of course, it's not gonna feel very long. I mean, it has been 1.5 years since you know what, so there's that. But Chevalier does not lie to me, so I will believe him. The tone of our conversation changes after that. Chevalier asks me about my day, and I'm forced to make up a lie on the spot to avoid telling him the truth. We talk for a while after that until I'm forced again to attend to my responsibilities. Dang, is it up into chapter 4 yet? Let me see. Oh, it's still chapter 3! Okay, I was wondering. This chapter's long. After I finished all my daily obligations, I head to the forest for my last meeting. Delora is waiting for me in the clearing with the usual smirk on her face. I can sense the build of her spell moments before she casts it. Moments before her spell slams into me, I erect a small shield to block her magic. I sigh as her magic showers my shield. Do you not remember that you're supposed to cast double? It's nice to see her too, Delora. She always greets me like this. She says it keeps me on my toes. Nice weather we're having tonight, isn't it? She looks at me curious. Where's Casanova? He didn't follow you out tonight? He tried, but I didn't let him get very far. In fact, I froze his feet to the ground to make sure he stayed in the palace! It was obvious he needed the rest. Delora just snorts. You two are perfect for each other. You're both stubborn as rocks. I dismiss the words with a wave of my hand to prepare myself for Delora's next spell. Our training session begins as it always does, with Delora throwing spells at me and giving me only moments to counteract. We review shields, then basic offensive magic, and then charms. We're nearly onto object summoning when it occurs to me to ask about Sinna. When he first arrived in Angiel, he watched these practices from the sidelines. But tonight, he's nowhere to be seen. How is Sinna? Are you actually worried for him? Are you just wary because he's been so difficult lately? Both! Worry no more. Sinna's turned over a new leaf. She pauses, then gives a nearly imperceptible shrug. Well, half a leaf at least. Halfway's better than nothing! Half? He's a skeptic at heart, so it will take him a bit for him to open up completely, but what you said must have left an impression on him. I guess in the end, it makes sense you could help him best. The two of you are very similar, after all. She flashes a feline smile at me. I roll my eyes. I would not give in to her teasing! I know it can be difficult sometimes, but Sinna really is a good kid. I hope your talk with him could show you that. He said that he did not want to repeat Parfai's mistakes. I am glad his reasons were not selfish. He may act like a skeptical old man, but he's a kid at heart. He's definitely easier to deal with than a certain ice princess was. She raises an eyebrow at me. Is it really necessary to keep bringing up the past? You speak as if you have had lots of experience with children, but you only compare Sinna and me. You might want to sit down with this one, Lucette. The smirk falls from Delora's face abruptly. I just realized I never told you about her, huh? Her? Delora crosses her arms against the cold. I'm taken aback by how small she suddenly looks beneath the shadow of the canopies. Loria, my little girl. You have a daughter? Had. I lost her during the war. Whatever words I had been about to say lodge in my throat. But I look at Delora again, and she's frowning up at the starry sky. At times like this, when it's impossible to change what's happened in the past, there's only one thing I can say. I'm sorry. Delora shakes her head. It wasn't your fault. You don't need to apologize. For a long time, the two of us stand there, looking at the stars, and then hesitantly, I break the silence. what was she like? Dolores smiles wistfully. She was a lot like you and Sinna. She was free-spirited to a fault, and always spoke her mind. And even though she never admitted to being a soft heart, she would always jump to the defense of others. I used to tease her all the time, and she'd get embarrassed and snap at me. She was my greatest treasure. My mind whirls, supplying images of humans attacking Dolores' daughter. How could they have hurt a child? Dolores seems to read the question from my expression. She was killed during the war by Hildur. It's as if the air is torn from my lungs. I suddenly feel cold, empty. I was unsympathetic to Hildur. She believed the only way to show me how much she was suffering as Tenebrarum Bearer was to make me suffer. So she took away the person I loved most. Laura, You don't have to say you're sorry, Lucette. For a long time, I've been wondering if I should even tell you this story. I never wanted you to blame yourself, but now you know, after everything you've gone through, that you're not like Hildur. When Hildur killed my daughter, I thought I'd never get another chance to have someone like her in my life. But then, you came along. Her smile mellows. I think, if Loria had grown up, she would have been a lot like you, Lucette. And now, I have the honor of watching over a taciturn fairy, too. Lucky me, being able to watch over both Tenebrarum and Lucis Bearer. She steps close enough to set a hand on my shoulder. I know you said that in your nightmares your mother told you weren't good enough, but I know that's not true. I get to witness your magical strength every time we practice, and I know firsthand how dedicated you are. I cannot help but smile. Even though my heart is heavy with so many revelations, Dolores' words make the burden easier to bear. I have Chevalier and everyone at the Marching to thank for that. Dolores grins at me. Well, of course. You remember Parfait what you used to say? Goodness is innate in everyone. That's what I learned in my semester-long course, too. She chaps my chest. So, really, you had it in you all along. She draws her hand away with a grin. So, do you feel better now? I should be asking you that! Dolores shakes her head. What's in the past is in the past. Honoring Loria's memory is all I can do for her now. Honoring her memory. I hope Sinna and I are able to do that for Parfait and Mother. Dolores backs away. No more getting sidetracked. Show me what you got, Princess. The Wesson continues into the night. It is obvious, however, that Dolores and I have our minds on different things. I have no doubt she's thinking about Loria. And me? I need to do my best to honor my own mother, and to keep those I love from suffering. And that includes Chevalier. Whoo! I did not expect that. Chapter 4, The Jack of All Trades. Dang! Woo!
Yeah, it can be a hard balance sometimes. Mm-hmm. You know, honoring someone because, you know, they're your parents, but even if they're kind of not good people.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the strange thing of like, well, gotta honor where I'm coming from, but at the same time, like, doing better than what they did, though, like, I know for most of us, it's like basically being the next generation. Of course, we're gonna have more things that we're gonna do better because we have more tools to do better. But at the same time, with more tools, there's also more ways to misuse said tools. So it's complicated, and I think it's even harder, especially if your predecessor did worse things that you can't even imagine doing. You know?
Yeah.
It's complicated.
I think part of it comes down to, like, maybe you can't deny all the, bad things they did and, kind of what their tendencies, but you don't necessarily have to, like, harp on them or shame them more than is necessary, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, in some ways they probably didn't know better, and then even in some ways if they did know better, ultimately, we do have both capabilities inside of us. We're capable of doing bad things, be it out of envy or self-sabotage, but then we are just as capable of doing a whole lot of good. We have them both inside of all of us. And I think that's the thing we have to reconcile more often than not. It's like to know that we have that sweet spot in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We've all got it. Even me. Thank gods that council meeting is over. I'm relieved to be back in my quiet room after listening to the councilors again argue about taxes for hours. The two constants, death and taxes. Finally, I can hear myself think. I look down at my scarf for Chevalier, which, after about a week's worth of work, is almost done. I should be able to finish it today. I seat myself at my desk and begin working. My mind wanders in the silence, my thoughts turning toward Chevalier. Though a week has passed since he started seeing patients, I can tell he's stressed. One night, when he again fell asleep at my desk, I heard him mumbling in his sleep. I could tell he was having an old nightmare, one in which he kills a witch with a serpent smile and loses one of his dearest friends. I know it's the same dream because he always whispers the same words. I'm sorry I couldn't save you, Lady Parfait. I became so lost in the thought that I pricked my finger. The pain brings me back to reality. I need to focus. I turn my attention back to the scarf, but the minute I resume sewing, a knock sounds on my door. Princess Lucette? You may come in. Oh, it's a guy! Ah! Fritz!
Fred! Hey! What was Fritz's voice? Shoot.
Dang! I forgot! Woo! Fitzgerald Aiden Leverton slips into my room with a pleasant smile affixed to his face. Fritz. 2 years ago, I thought I disappeared forever, destroyed by a villainous witch. But it turns out he managed to escape the kingdom during that turbulent time. His memories are fragmented, but we've been able to piece together that Mithros cursed him. And that man named Varg was actually Fritz's cursed form. Father was wary and removed Fritz from his post as my personal guard, but I at least was able to save his job as a knight.
Good morning, Princess.
He bows. Good morning, Fritz. He eyes the fabric on my desk.
I had no idea you made scarves, Princess.
I don't usually. Wait. What did you just say? Oh yeah! First name basis, I forgot!
That I didn't know you made scarves?
Don't dodge it, man. You can't do it. You're not as charming as Chevalier. I laugh before I can help it. Fritz looks at me startled. He thinks it looks like a scarf. Perhaps I'm not so terrible as I thought. Oh! Never mind! I forgot!
You can know what it is! Hooray!
Yay! He knows what it is! I'm not terrible!
Princess?
It's Nothing, Fritz. Thank you. Fritz smiles quizzically before awkwardly shuffling on his feet. I can tell by the nervous motion that he has something to say. Oh, man. Did you come to deliver a message?
Actually, yes. I came by to let you know the Border Scout saw a Brigantian carriage approaching this morning. Prince Claude and Prince Lance were in it. They'll arrive at the palace this afternoon.
Brigantian party time!
His Majesty tells me their visit is, quite spontaneous.
Yeah, aka very typical of Brigantians. How very like Claude to show up unexpectedly and dramatically. Emphasis on dramatically, Lucette, as we saw in the previous story. Ever since NGL and Brigantia have formed a more dedicated alliance, Claude and his brother have been visiting more often, and usually without prior notice.
I just received the news, so I'll be on my way to help organize security.
I appreciate you notifying me beforehand. Thank you, Fritz. Fritz ducks into a bow, then pauses.
Oh, one more thing. I met Princess Emmeline in the hallway. She asked me to tell you to meet her in the dining hall.
Book club time? What for? Fritz shakes his head.
I don't know. All I know is she said the queen, she and the queen are waiting for you.
Oh boy, we can see Ophelia again. Sweet. Ophelia as well? It's rare for her to call on me. I'll go meet with them, then. Thank you, Fritz. Fritz has just turned toward the door when it occurs to me to ask a question. One I've been meaning to ask for a long time. Fritz, have you been enjoying your job? It's not my fault Fritz was demoted, and yet I feel responsible that I could not save him from Mithros all those years ago. Fritz glances over his shoulder with a gentle smile.
You don't have to worry, Princess. Even if I can't serve you anymore, I get to keep protecting the people. And protecting is what I do best.
Yay! Despite his smile, there is a melancholy in Fritz's eyes that makes my heart ache. I hope he does not blame himself for what happened years ago. Then, considering what Alcaster did, it's not his fault. There was no way he could have known that was what was going to happen.
Take care, Princess.
I sit in silence after he leaves, my mind foggy with memories of the past. I think about Chevalier and his nightmares, about the blood he must remember on his hands. I think about Fritz and the terrible witch who cursed him. And I think about Mother, whom I was meant to revive. We feed off negativity and chaos. Love serves no power. You'll see that in time. Mother, I wish we could have seen eye to eye. I wish I could have saved you from yourself before you're lost to me forever. I rise to my feet. I was going to finish the scarf, but I have no time if I'm to attend to my family. For now, I stuff it into a drawer for safekeeping. I wonder what it looks like. I'm excited to see the final design. I wonder what Emily and Ophelia want. I head for the dining hall.
They're probably gonna save the design for a dramatic shot.
Yeah.
When you get him.
Could be later on this chapter, maybe the 5th, or maybe they might keep it for the 5th chapter. We can make it the penultimate one before the possible big wedding, because there's I think there's 2 weddings we have not witnessed yet. Servants are setting the table for tea when I enter. I'm taken aback when I see a plate of familiar lily-shaped biscuits on the surface. Oh, Lucette! Good afternoon, Lucette. Emmeline told me there was a new dessert in town named for you. I had a servant pick up a batch on an errand run. Have you tried them? They're delicious. If Chev were here, he'd be wiggling his eyebrows at me. Yes, Chevalier has already forced them on me. Ophelia laughs. You make it sound like a form of torture. Well, he did do it all of it without me knowing. Ophelia and Emmeline share a look, then burst into laughter. Once the sound would have infuriated me. Now I recognize the banter for what it is, an attempt to get closer to me. I used to shun such attempts. Now I'm grateful for them. Ophelia has always been very supportive of my relationship with Chevalier. Perhaps it is because she too was once a commoner. And I'm going to try not to make a crowd reference. I'm not going to make a crowd reference. No. Not going to add to the counter. So, what did you call me here for? Is this about the Brigantian princes? I raised an eyebrow at Emmeline. Did you know they were visiting? Emmeline laughs. I've known for a long time. I sent Prince Lance for an invitation to the Spring Festival weeks ago. The Angiel Spring Festival was an annual event. Last year, Chevalier showed me the decorated stalls and carts, but I was so busy I barely had the chance to appreciate it. I had completely forgotten it was coming up. I smile at Emmeline. How bold of you to invite a prince to a festival. I just thought Lance would like to see some of our celebrations firsthand. He's always telling me about Brigantian festivities. So this whole visit was actually orchestrated by you? Does Rod know? I'm sure he realizes at this point. I don't think Rod could ever remain angry at you for long, Emmeline. I hope not. The worry on Emmeline's face is thankfully quick to fade. Anyway, you didn't come here to listen to me babble. Oh? Then why am I here? Ophelia just gestures to a chair at the table. I see myself beside Emmeline. I hear you've been quite busy with meetings lately. I rarely see you. You're always in meetings or training with magic. Those are my responsibilities as Crown Princess and as the Tenebrarum Bearer, yes, but while those duties are important, you also have a duty to take care of yourself. Dang! It's that throwback! It's like, you're a riding Chevalier, take care of yourself. Ophelia in turn, it's like, whoop, passing the ball to you. Yeah, follow your own advice, Lucette. And now I'm thinking of that scene in Bridgerton where, like, Lady Bridgerton and Daphne are talking about, like, forgiveness, and they're talking about, like, the ball that she's about to throw, and, Lady Featherington has basically been shunned from every single ball in the Ton because of Marina, and then, she's all like, well, and then Lady Featherington happens to be in the same stall, and shows up, and Daphne's like, you know what? Why don't you call it the last ball of the season? My treat. Here's an invitation. I'll personally extend it to you. We need to all forgive each other in such mistakes. Side-eyeing her mom the entire time. Oh, man. That was good. I want to watch it again now. Watch Bridgerton after this. You need to relax. Chevalier says the same thing. He took me to a cafe. Does that not count as a break? Oh? I thought you were forced into that. Plus, you still made it into a work meeting somehow. So, like, well, at least Chevalier did. But it's still sort of a work meeting, so in some ways, no, it doesn't, Lucette. No, it doesn't.
Also, that was one break. You know,
exactly.
There's still more to do to maintain a balance.
There you go. There we go. We just tied it all together. Roll credits.
Like work-life balance. They're all like, oh man, I went out to eat like 2 weeks ago. So what if I've been working the entire time?
Yeah, even my friend, I talked with her like 2 days ago. She even said like, how do you sleep? Like, how do you take a break? Because like I'm a night owl, but I've had 7 a.m. shifts all week this week. And she's like, do you sleep? Like, how do you take a break? It's like, I take a break on the weekends. And Wednesdays. Because Wednesdays I don't work. Which is great. And I do this. So it's like, good! Self-care! So fuck, like, if you have to schedule it, if it has to get to the point where you schedule it, and you have to pencil it in your schedule, do it. It's worth it. I have to follow my own advice now, because the last time I had, like, a proper break was maybe, like, early last month. It was not the most unpleasant thing. I'm glad to hear it. And I hope you'll be glad to hear that Chevalier and I have come up with a way for you to do your duty as Crown Princess, while also taking a break. I have a bad feeling about this. Emmeline claps her hands together. You and I are going to be in charge of the town festivities this year. What? Emmeline grasps my hands. Lucette, it's going to be great. I've already ordered some decorations from Viorica's, and Anise is going to help us brainstorm ideas. But... oh, we should ask Sir Waltz if he perform a special magic show. But... or, oh, you should perform, Lucette. Emmeline, dear, it looks like Lucette wants to say something. Yes. I don't know how to plan a festival, and my magic... your magic is beautiful. I look up at the words, surprised. Chevalier said you'd be good at this. He knows you best, doesn't he? Be as it may, we don't want to force you into anything, Lucette. As always, Chevalier goes out of his way to lift my spirits when he's the one that needs to take a break. But maybe... I'll do it, but only if Chevalier is given time off. Do you think he will take it even if it's offered? If I need to, I'll call us a date and force him to come with me. Both Ophelia and Emmeline stare at me. Yeah, Dolores so right. Like, you two are stubborn.
Both of you, everybody, just take a break.
Yeah.
Accept it.
Yeah, go to group therapy, go to Workaholics Anonymous.
It's like when you run into people who refuse to take compliments. You're just like, just take it, okay?
Yeah, once upon a time I was one of those people. In some ways, some of those old ways kind of come back, but...
yeah.
I wish to catch myself before it gets to that wall. What? Nothing. It's just good to see you two looking out for each other. Emmeline smiles brightly. You're done with your meeting, right? In that case, would you like to accompany me to the March-In? I'd like to talk with Sir Waltz about the magic show. What if the Brigantian Princess arrive when you're out? Don't you want to be here to greet Lance? Oh, you're right. Emmeline looks so downtrodden, I can't help but feel guilty for bringing it up. Perhaps it wouldn't hurt to take a break from all that sewing? I could still go to the tavern. I don't mind requesting an assistance on your behalf. Are you sure? It's no problem. You invited Lance, he should be here when he arrives. In that case, I'm going to start preparing for his arrival. Thank you, Lucette. Emmeline walks away with a little bounce in her step, leaving Ophelia and I alone. To be young and in love. Foreseeing an uncomfortable conversation, I begin to excuse myself when Ophelia speaks. Lucette, may I ask you a question? Yes? Chevalier, how is he taking to palace life? And she would know because she's a commoner too, so, woo. It's gonna be interesting. I know how difficult it is to incorporate yourself into a social sphere you weren't born into. Is there anything I could do to help? Oh boy! Oh my gosh. It's gonna get to an interesting part too. What do you feel up for? Because this looks really interesting. It's like on the one hand, I want to find out about Ophelia's past, but on the other hand...
Yeah, I would be interested to know about Ophelia's past, but that doesn't seem to be the conversation right now, and I don't feel like that would help out Chevalier as much as much as just directly asking, what would you suggest? Do you have any advice?
Yeah, I guess. Well, on the other hand, though, I think it's like a similar. I think it's like maybe just trying to find something trying to start something to parallel off of, and also in a way kind of improving the relationship between them. But I see what you're saying about going more direct. Guess we're gonna have to do the coin again. Do you feel up for continuing this part until the next decision? Because I'm curious.
What?
Do you feel up to, like, continuing until the next decision? Because I know it's gonna be mostly through chapter 4, but I'm really curious about this. What she's gonna say.
I'm fine.
Alright. Heads, we ask about her past. Tails, we go for advice. Advice it is. Alright, here we go. He always is insistent that things are going well, but his patients are being condescending. How did you know? Because it seems a person's worth is often determined by their ancestry in this world. Y'all, does that sound familiar?
It's basically the summation of history as a whole. So
I'm not going to make a reference. No. It's too perfect. No, you know what? Add to the counter. Add 2 to the counter right now. Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle. And I guess in some ways, Princess Diana too. I mean, she is technically part of the gentry, but she lived mostly like a commoner, so there's that. But all of them were described. Well, Meghan Markle and Princess Diana especially have described how hard it was to go from being able to be a free agent in their lives to basically being cordoned off in palace life. It's a completely different life. And probably the other royals are just not used to that because they've had more freedom to move and they were used to it. But they also grew up with the protocol, whereas they didn't. Okay, I got it out of my system. I had to say, it was too perfect. And of course for Lucette, it doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't, does it? Once, I too shunned Ophelia and her children for not being of royal blood. The realization makes my stomach knot. Ophelia, I'm sorry about before. You don't need to apologize, Lucette. I came into your life after a great loss. It's only natural you were still wary of me. And besides, that's all in the past. What matters now is Chevalier, right? He always lets people walk over him, and he does not let me stand up for him. Because you can't fight his battles for him. If you did, the nobility would never accept him. They think he was using you as a shield. Then, what must I do? Support him, and let him find his own way. Sometimes, the best way to guide someone is to listen to them. Chevalier says the same thing, that listening is key. Chevalier knew what he was getting himself into when he moved here. Did he? Love gives us the courage to fight intimidating battles. You know that just as well as I do, don't you? You knew this would be a difficult relationship, yet you still pursued it. I never cared about others' opinions of me, but Chev... Have faith, Lucette. Chevalier is a doctor. He's no stranger to pressure. Ophelia is right. Chevalier has never doubted my ability to do anything. I need to trust him. Thank you for listening to me, Ophelia. Of course. You and Chevalier are always welcome to ask me for advice. Though, I'd also love for us to talk more about more pleasant things over tea someday. She gestures towards the biscuits. Because everything can be solved with the power of sweets. And perhaps we can share the Princess Lily platter. I clear my throat. I'm going to go to the margin now. I hurriedly curtsy and exit the dining hall to Ophelia's soft laughter. Oh, that was good. At the insistence of the guards, I take a carriage into town. Though it is still awkward, I try my best to smile and wave at people as I pass through. I do not get the same reception as Emily and Rod, but I do not mind. It takes time to rebuild trust, and I'm happy with how far I've progressed. I am in good spirits when we reach the march-in. I expect the tavern to be busy at this time of day, but I'm ill-prepared for how packed it is when I enter. What in the world is happening? Look, it's the princess! Two women push through the crowd to speak to me. Have you come to watch the performance? Performance? The magic show!
Oh.
Do you want to do woman being? Like, experiment a little bit?
Waltz is good at magic, but I like his puppets better.
That's true. Is Waltz performing? Oh no, the Lucis Bearer is. What? What? Sinna? Wow!
I guess this is his new leaf, or new half a leaf.
His half a leaf is performing. Oh my god. I guess I gotta see. I knew it choke on my own breath. What? You must know him, Princess Lucette. What's he like? He sounds so mysterious. And handsome. They'll be very disappointed when they find out Sinna is just a grumpy child.
I thought I knew him, but this is nothing I ever expected from him.
I mean, the only thing I can imagine is, like, if you use, like, transfiguration magic to make him look taller than he actually is. Which is totally possible considering, like, well, Waltz's curse was the Peter Pan curse, and he was perpetually a child until that point. Anyway, after sating the woman's curiosity with a vague but apparently intriguing description, I pushed my way toward the crowd toward the bar, where I spotted Delora. Princess Lucette, how nice of you to join us. What is going on? Well...
Magic!
I stumbled back. Where did you... I thought you were at the palace. How are you here? Chevalier wiggles his fingers and speaks in a whisper.
Magic.
If Walt snuck him in, that would totally do it. You wish you can do magic, Casanova. Dolores sighs. He just dropped by after doing a medicine supply run at a niece's.
Laura, must you dampen the intrigue with the truth?
That's her style, man. I figured that for once, the princess would want a straight answer. Anyway, you got here just in time. For what? Magic! I turned the sound of applause to see Walt standing in the center of the room.
Good day, everyone. My name is Waltz, and I'm here to introduce you to another performer who's here to spread some happiness and magic.
Oh boy, I wonder how.
Everyone, please welcome the Lucis Bearer, Sinna.
When Sinna slides out of the crowd, there are gasps and murmurs.
Hello, citizens of NGL. My name is Sinna. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Sinna claps his hands. His fingers begin to glow, and then... miniature magic-induced fireworks pop over his head, creating a halo of colors.
And a pleasure to entertain you today.
Oh boy. The audience applauds, but I'm too shocked to join them. He's so... cheerful. Well, if he is running off some of the high of the crystal, it makes total sense. Dolores smirks. Sid has a grump at heart, but I think he's taking your advice and let himself open up to the Lucis. Sinna weaves his fingers through the air, creating flowers that rain down from the ceiling. While the audience cheers, I reach up to brush the petals off my head. I stop when Chevalier gently sets his fingers on my wrist.
You look beautiful, Lucette.
There is a soft wonder in his eyes that brings a smile to my face. What, with petals on my head? You want to talk, Lucette, considering you have a lily on your hair. Touché.
You wear them like a crown.
The compliment is so sincere, it makes my heart flutter. I love Chevalier's dramatics, but more than that, I love it when he speaks to me like this. Like, we're the only people in the room. Oh? You have a crown of flowers in your head, too. Are you also royalty? Chevalier's smile wavers slightly. I waste my fingers through his. Be honest with me, Chev. Is everything okay?
I think I have an idea how to make things better.
I wonder what. An idea?
Yes,
Oh!
Princess Lucette.
I startle when Sinna calls my name. The crowd parts so I can see him.
I knew you'd be here. Good to show the audience what a Tenebrarum Bearer can do.
Uh-oh.
Or are you afraid I'll upstage you?
Dang, even high on the loose energy, Sinna still manages to be sassy. Never change. I bristle at the taunt. Everyone in the tavern is looking at me expectantly.
This sounds like a challenge.
Oh boy. I slip my fingers out of Chevalier's and turn to Sinna. I can outperform you any day.
Talk is cheap. Show us what you can do.
So the big question of the day is it flowers or is it ice? And with that, we shall leave you in suspense for now. But yeah, that was a fun one. Woo! We got some drama, we've got some magic, we've got some advice. Love yourself. Speaking of which, I still need to watch Loki. I need to do that. But yeah, what an episode indeed. Whew. So yeah, Barony, don't know where we're going with that, but if it happens, you'll get a notification. If not, well, we'll figure out something. Meantime, though, Parasite Eve.
I always plan on it, but you know, some weeks things just come up. But
yeah, it's a little bit variable. I mean, in my case, I also have like my shift is mainly the afternoon on Monday, but I mean, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out something. Parasite Eve, part 17 on Wednesday. I rewatched the footage. It's kind of hilarious to see like when I figure it out. But I think that basically proved the point of like cinema summaries point where like fear can make us do the most ridiculous things. It was definitely fear that made me mess up the puzzle so many times because I was scared about what was going to pop up. So, aka the game did its job. So hopefully I have more guts come next week. And then we're going to continue on with Chapter 4 next Saturday. So that's going to be fun. Got some card readings going on in my Fiverr shop, waxgibbouswitch. Got 2 codes going for that. And, well, the other stuff, you know the rest. And here's my social media in case you want to check out my other stuff. I've been taking a little pause on posting on TikTok, but I should be getting back to that pretty soon, probably. And I'm working on getting some videos up on my second channel, Theological Otaku, but in the meantime, feel free to check out all my previous plays on Twitch and on YouTube, where I simulcast this stuff. So, yeah, this was a lot of fun. I am wondering what Lucette will try to do next. Yeah, until next time, make sure to drink plenty of water, especially during this heat wave. I've certainly been drinking plenty of it. Remember to take some time to have fun. In addition to this, so just go out and do something. Well, sleep, and then go and do something. And of course, may your heart be your guiding key. Till next time, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.